So welcome to Season the Scholar, Season 3. And in the Season 3, I am getting chance to interact with many of wish list people. And among that wish list, today we have, I would say that one of the living legend in earth science field, Professor D.M. Banerjee. So of course, this is the first ever conversation which is recorded in 2 days. Yeah, so let's continue where we left. Just for brief, the timeline that we have talked about, your life and your PhD, several aspects of Indian earth science and like that. But now we are going to little focus on your research contribution and your favorite work that you did in your life. And if you would like to share, then I would like to have some of your experiences with the legend that you have produced. I put last time when we did the conversation, I took a screenshot and put on the Facebook and as well as LinkedIn also. The response were very nice. And there I wrote that he is the father of legends. So that is the case. So that portion also, if you wish, we can cover. So, sir, please tell us some of the 3, not more than that, the closest, close to your heart work that you have accomplished, and so you can you can also tell it in terms of publication as well. That these are the 3 things. Of course, publication would not be, precisely that only one publication, because one work may lead to the several publications. So let us know that what are the 3 things that still you cherish that you could do during your days.
Okay, you see, my research career started from Lucknow University, where I got attached with the department where the Himalayan geology was the major topic of study because of Professor K.S. Waldia, one of the leading Himalayan geologists, was in the department. So it was almost a rush that everybody wants to work in the Himalaya. And there was also a problem with the government of India, as I said, that why Himalayas are not properly mapped and not fully mapped. It was a meeting which was presided over by Professor D.N. Wadia. He was the main advisor to the government of India. So that quite a major portion of Himalaya was not mapped on proper scale. That means what used to be 1 inch to a mile scale, it used to be called, which is now called 1:50,000 scale map. So there were quarters map, there were smaller maps available, but the large scale maps were not available. So they proposed a program of mapping Himalaya and floated amount, sanctioned a quite big amount, where they distributed funds to different universities like Jammu, from Banaras, Delhi, Jadavpur, and Aligarh and Banaras. So in every places, there were some people, 1 or 2 persons were identified who will work in Himalaya, and designated areas were given from Kumaon Himalaya to Shimla Himalaya to Garhwal Himalaya to Darjeeling Himalaya. So depending upon who is closer to that place, they were allotted that area. So our started was actually a mapping map. So I was given an area near Bageshwar in Almora district where I have to work. So the primary work was to prepare a geological map. And along with the map, you find out the research topic and you choose what you want to do, because the whole area of Himalaya consists of different rock types. You have sedimentary rock, you have metamorphic rock, you have igneous rock, you have hydrological problems, you have got so many things. So while mapping, you decide what you want to concentrate on. So this was my starting point, and I started working in the Himalaya, with an eye on the sedimentological aspect, because wanted to sort of reconstruct sedimentary history of the Himalayan rocks, and especially in the lesser Himalayan rocks, which you call the lesser Himalayan rock in that belt. So I mapped the one full topographical sheet, 1:53,000, 53,000, it was 53/13. It was the sheet number in which I mapped. And this was right from Bageshwar in the west to almost Pithoragarh in the east. So I did the mapping, and I spent almost 13 months in the field, not in one go, but 3 months, 2 months, like that, and surviving in very difficult conditions, living in the. So that was my major. So major work was on the study of building a stratigraphy on the Himalayan rock, unknown areas which were not mapped before, and I constructed a stratigraphy of that area, studied the sedimentological aspects of that area, and they were instrumentalized. There were also other microfossils which were found in the rock. So that continued for a long time. And in different parts of the Himalaya, I worked and over the years. Then subsequently, when I joined Geological Survey of India, then immediately I was put into a cell, what was water exploration cell, called the groundwater cell of GSI. That time, groundwater board was not created, and it was the part of Geological Survey of India. And I was allotted an area in Gujarat area to carry out well logging and the water survey, the availability of water for the upcoming industries along the Ahmedabad, along Baroda-Ahmedabad highway. The many big companies were coming up, and they required enormous amount of water, and there was only one river, which was Mahi, in that area. So I worked on that area, do electrologging and other things, and also which I was not familiar with. I learned it on ground and then carried out. But by the time I finished that work, I was moved to. I sort of pleaded with my people, with the Director General, that I may be giving a geological problem, because I was not very comfortable with hydrogeology, because I didn't study in the MSc. MSc level, nobody taught us anything about the hydrogeology. So my understanding of hydrogeology is limited. And so I was asked where I wanted to go. I wanted to go any Precambrian terrain, and I was sent to Udaipur area. And Udaipur area was the Aravali mountain chain, which was Precambrian, and stratigraphy was not established at that time. And there was so many things. And phosphorite was discovered by the Geological Survey of India at that time. And there was a basic base camp in a village called Kanpur, so I was put into that. My job was to do the mapping of the Aravali range with the help of aerial photographs. That time, the aerial photograph was almost new. That is, 1967, 68. The new aerial photographs had come, and I was supposed to do the geological mapping of aerial photograph. Now, in the meanwhile, when I got interested in the rock of the phosphate, and I found that there is not a single paper in India who has written about phosphate and phosphorite. So I started consulting with Department of Geology of Udaipur, and all those things. And then I wrote a paper on which was published in a very prestigious journal at that time, American Journal of Science, Geological Society of America. And that really remain a very important paper. And even today, this is the benchmark paper considered to be. But my heart was always in teaching and research. So I found that GSI, if I remain GSI, yesterday was in groundwater. I have now been transferred to a geological mapping, and after 3 or 5 years, I may be transferred to some other division, and then again somewhere. So I will not be able to concentrate my research, and then decided to sort of make an application or with wall sort of thing. My application was not forwarded, and I was asked, but somehow Delhi University by Professor Head of Department accepted my application without being forwarded, and I was invited. I was invited for the interview. I got the appointment letter, and then I was not being relieved because this guy did not send my application through proper channel. So it was a big tussle, and there was a big exchange of letters, and then ultimately they had to sort of relieve me. They took almost 3 months to relieve me, and I joined Delhi University. So after coming to Delhi University, I continued with the work phosphorite because that was something which was very new and nobody in India had worked in it. So I found this is an avenue where I can really do something. And ultimately, I got students also along with me, and I put them into different type of projects. Almost each and every phosphate deposit of the country was covered. Some are phosphate deposits from the Kadappas, phosphate deposit is small deposit in Vindhyan, in the Aravalli itself, Singhbhum area, and in wherever if there was a phosphate rock, my presence is there, and I published enormously, long way, and then I became a convener of there was the IGCP project. I proposed an IGCP project. I became a convener, and and then I became also a member of the International Committee on the Phosphorite. And then through this Phosphorite Committee, we traveled all over the world. Wherever there was not a single phosphate deposits I have not seen in the world. They're everywhere, from Mongolia to Tunisia to Morocco to South Africa to Nepal or anywhere in Australia and North America, South America, and wherever there is a phosphate deposit, I have traveled and I have experience of working on those deposits, and we published extensively on phosphorite. And then gradually, along with that, I was also interested in the Precambrian rocks, like the Aravalli stratigraphy, not only phosphorite, but the geology and all that. And then I produced a number of PhDs out of that. One of them is one of your friends, Prasun Bhattacharya. He did his PhD on the Aravallis. He was not hydrogeologist when he was there. He was a hardcore Precambrian sedimentologist along with me. And we published also extensively along with that. And then also I moved on to the Himalayas again, and then started working on the phosphate deposits there. And from the Mussoorie area and other places. So I produced number of PhDs out from that. And they are now working in they are in very good position in different part of the country, or some of them have gone abroad and they have established themselves as a very chief geologist or maybe something like that. Like some in the oil company, because phosphate has got relationship with the oil, they are in oil company. So I continued to work on Precambrian rocks of India from the Aravallis, from the Vindhyans and other places, Chhattisgarh, the area, mainly the sedimentological aspect. My publications are mostly related to those areas. Then by the end of by the third phase of my life was by the end of the century. One of my friend, a phosphate phosphophile or phosphate friend from London School of what is his name? London Geological Institute at London.
British Geological Survey?
No, not British Geological Survey. The University of London. He was with us in the phosphate groups for a long time. We have visited different countries together. He was certainly interested. He mainly geochemist. So he asked me that whether I'll be interested in working on arsenic. So he said, "Okay, I'm not an arsenic man, but I have not."
What is his name?
John MacArthur.
John MacArthur. Yeah, I was going to ask you a question.
Yeah, John MacArthur. John MacArthur was my old friend. We were from AS several years together. In fact, we have worked also in Mussoorie phosphorite along with him also. But then he said, "Will you be interested in doing this type of work?" I said, "I don't know much about it, but I can learn and I can join you, and I can give you an access to the area where we can work." Then he said, "Okay, you make a choice on area because this is a hot topic nowadays." That was in early 2000, early topic. So I decided that we'll work somewhere in the basin where there is arsenic. And very interestingly, I chose an area which is in Barasat, from where my ancestors came into 1840. My great-grandfather migrated from Barasat to Allahabad in 1840. So I said that I must pay back to my places and I must work somewhere else. So we decided to work on Barasat. And around 2003 or 2001 or 2002, we started working on this. And for almost 10 years, we have worked together. We have got a number of collaborators from different institutes, including IIT Kharagpur and different institutions. And we published a lot, I think about 10 papers on arsenic, which maybe you may be aware. So this is about continuing, and then I retired after that. Then now I'm just simply, then I'm not still working. I'm still working on phosphate rocks. I'm still refining my studies, but I have done it earlier. So I am likely to publish a review article very soon on the phosphate research in India. I also edited a volume of Geological Society of India, Bangalore, on phosphate rocks of India. So this is the three aspects, three steps of my research activity. You can say three phases.
Yeah, I didn't know that these three will beautifully fit in the three phases of your life, and you have given very nicely distributed it into the three phases. And the paper that you are talking about, I just for the benefit of the audience, I want to tell that probably the GSA paper that you are talking about was a single author paper, and it was a pre-Cambrian stromatolitic phosphorites of Udaipur, Rajasthan, Jaipur, right?
Yeah.
So Udaipur, Rajasthan, India. So that was a single author paper, and that was written much before than my birth. And I mean, still it is in the top 5 cited paper of your career. When I was going through your publications and like that, time to time, you were publishing as a single author or two author. There are several others. Some of them, and of course, at that time, phosphorites started, and then again you have Rajasthan has been your. If I would use one of the most a state that appeared in your paper, that is Rajasthan, and of course, and so there were some paper on those things. But what amused me is that you have been researching about economic geology. You have, of course, hardcore geology. We already know sedimentology. We already know also medical geology. Your chemical geology, economy, the economic geology, and then also this medical geology. So if this all
you can't use the term economic geology per se, because I didn't work on the economic aspect of the phosphorite. I didn't do the estimation or
because of the
geochemistry,
because of the petrology and those things involved, and that's why some of your publications are in economic geology. So that thing is there. Of course, you have used isotope also. So if I talk a little bit about like which tool or technique that is very close to your heart. There are several techniques used in geology field. You have used isotope. You have used many tracer technique. You have used, of course, the geochemistry or hydrogeochemistry and like that. So, what are the some of the techniques or things you are very fond of?
No, now I cannot use any of the techniques. My favorite, of course, is isotope, especially working on the carbon and oxygen isotope and sulfur isotopes. but I no longer use them I don't analyze anymore. That at the moment, I have used them extensively. I have also done the organic geochemistry. Also, have done I have got publications on organic geochemistry, the separation of organic matter, and doing mass spectrometry and GC using the GC mass and other things. I've also used, but most important thing which I feel the field work. I believe mostly on the rocks which you see on the outcrop. So my place of research is field. If they may say this is an isotope, this is an age, this is such a radiometric age, and such as a uranium lead, all those things are useless unless you can show me on the rock that which rock it is that and what type of rock it is. Because many times people just collect about 1 milligram of sample, analyze it, and make a big story out of it. But at that 1 milligram, where it has been compared, what is that rock, from where it has been considered, has not been told. So my major is in field. Let's talk everything on the field. Only then subsequently everything is possible. You can make a dating, you can make isotope, you can make analyze the organic matter, you can take out anything. So my strong point is the field approach, what you see on the outcrop. So outcrop is my experiment place of research.
Great. Actually, I am very much, when I was introduced to hydrogeochemistry, the first thing that impressed me a lot is isotope. I remember that my master of philosophy, MPhil, was on isotopic study of Delhi groundwater. And when I went to Tokyo, and I was not able to find that what topic I am actually going to do PhD on. So then my professor asked me that, tell me, what is your passion? And the word that came out of my mouth was isotope. So then he said, okay, combine your technique or your passion with my research. And then I end up with doing isotope dilution technique for urban pollution fingerprinting and like that. So tell me more a little bit about isotope, because in your ways, not a lecture, but a kind of like how isotope facilitate or how can it is still relevant. Although the isotope-based studies are a little bit getting lesser and lesser. Of course, the anthropogenic source tracking have increased, microbial source tracking are increased, LC, MS-based, I mean the source tracking are increasing, but isotope like oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, and sulfur, this kind of isotope is going, I mean, the publication is going a little down, that I feel. I may be wrong.
You're right, because it's getting saturated now, because most of the basic things have already been explored now. My interest was only on the carbon, oxygen, and sulfur. So all this I didn't use it as a chemist. I used it for my interpretation of sedimentology. I wanted to interpret in which environment these were formed, whether they were formed in euxic environment, whether they were formed in oxidizing condition, and then I can build up a story out of it, how a basin had evolved. So therefore, my major aim was to understand the evolution of a basin, how a particular rock type has come in its place, how it has is existing at this place, and through what rigors, what geological processes it has come to this place. So if there is a rock here, a carbonate rock here, another carbonate rock is here. In what way they are different? Why they have they formed in different? If their isotopes are different, have they formed in different basins, or have they formed their chemical conditions were different, or where the groundwater was contaminating it? So all those aspects have to be discussed, because like you have a carbon isotope and then organic carbon isotope. Isotope of the organic matter is also very important, because inorganic carbon, most of the work is done mostly by inorganic carbon. Because if there is organic carbon also, and if both of them have got the similar type of behavior, then you can also accept that the whatever analysis you are doing is correct. Because many times the most important part which people miss is the error factor. They may give you a particular figure, but without giving you to how much error is possible, what is the percentage of error, then the data cannot be believed. So the reason what you are saying that those isotope data is coming up are becoming less is because it's getting oversaturated. Most of the places, most of the things, facilities are so available, immediately people go and get analysis done. So water isotope, if you want the hydrogen isotope in water, for example, the hydrogen isotope also now it's so easy to do it. It's everywhere. It's not, it used to be a very, very difficult task to get it done. Like, but that at that time we had no other problem. Even in University College London, we had to go and approach a different lab to get it done. Your sound.
So here it is a question that whether it is a difficulty of technique or availability of technique that makes it special, or it is the utility of technique. I mean, before
utility,
you answer,
utility is there because you see, with carbon and carbon oxygen isotope, you can do many type of interpretations of many. And if it is supported by strontium isotope, it's still better. And if you have a sulfur isotope coming, much better. Nowadays, people are doing it in a different nitrogen isotope. There is also iron isotopes. So each type of isotope is going to give you an idea of a more refinement in the idea. Nowadays, most common is now nitrogen isotope. We are doing it and hydrogen isotope. In sediment, I'm talking about the sedimentology, particularly sedimentology, these isotopes are being extensively used. And there are equipments available. In Calcutta, it is available. In GSI, it is available. In ISA, the ISAs are available. So these isotopes are coming up. Earlier, to get 10 analysis was a big thing, because if you get 10 analysis and you have to pay maybe $200, $300. So now it is not so. So therefore, things are now getting saturated.
No, so here, like you said, that question that earlier it was very difficult to do. The instrument was available only a few places, and although you are saying that the environmental isotope or hydrogen, deuterium, or even the oxygen, these can tell a lot about a system. But it is despite having the utility, now because trouble is less, the paper that use that technique does not have that advantage. I remember, even although that my paper in 2004, 2006, I did some sample analysis of isotope in NIH Roorkee, and that isotope data is very much precious for me, and also precious for editors. If my paper have the isotope data, it is looked at entirely different perspective. If only chemistry data is there, they will look like, okay, here, no matter what science you are talking. But if you have added some isotope data, oh, paper is here now. Now, even if isotope is there or not there, it is like, it also comes like, okay, it is just one part of the chemistry data. People are now looking for like, okay, give me some biology data, give me some microbial data, give me some new marker data. So in a nutshell, what I am trying to get from you is that, because you have seen much more life than me, that whether not every time a technique which comes into the market, because of its rarity, that technique becomes very special. But as soon as it becomes available to everywhere, then it becomes, it's a drop down comes, and then we start treating the data out of that technique very general or very mediocre. So is it right attitude, or whether there is such attitude?
What is happening now, that earlier the interdisciplinary work was very low, was not very common. Like geologists was working as a geologist, hydrogeologists were working as hydrogeologists, and they were not interacting. So hydrogeologist was interpreting the geology in his own way, the limited way in which he understands the subject. Geologist will come and say he doesn't understand the water dynamics. You don't know how the water behaves underneath, so he gives a different interpretation. But now so many other sub branches are coming in. The biological sciences have come in. So many microbial activities have been now identified. So many things which were not earlier understood are now being understood from a different perspective. A microbiologist will come and try to understand your water problem, and perhaps he will come up with a different view. Like arsenic is now being decided by many people that there is some bacteria which is causing the arsenic. So this is an interdisciplinary work. So similar type of things are coming. So more and more now, for example, now for dating, most important thing has come up being the dating of the rock. What is the age of particular rock? Even whether it is a quaternary or whether it is a Precambrian, even whether it is a 2,000, 2,500 million years old, or it is only 5,000 or 2,000 years old. So even water, if it is being derived from a great depth, say maybe 300, 400, 500 meters, if water is coming, then what is the date of that rock? What is the date of that sediment? Water that is trapped in an aquifer. There are many aquifers which are lying there for maybe thousands of years. Some deeper aquifer could maybe trapped there. So what is the age of rock? So age, your isotopic work and the dating work. So dating has become a most important thing nowadays. Nowadays, anything without date is not accepted in any journal publication. Unless you say that this belongs to this particular time of the Earth system, maybe 10,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, or maybe 1,500 million years ago, or 1,600 million. But they need a date that where it has happened. It happened today or it happened later. So this is a total concentration is on dating now.
Okay, so I mean, what I want to talk is that you have explained, and it is very fairly explained, I would say, that why such things, but or how the scenario of research is changing and like that. But my question again will still be there is that let's suppose ICP mass. When ICP mass was, came, any analysis, any data out of that machine was very precious. Similarly, talk about any technique that you are saying, because you yourself told that at that time, getting a isotopic data was really, really difficult. So because of the difficulty involved or the rarity of the technique that is there, the paper get a special treatment or different treatment. And it's not the science, but it is the technology that is making a paper special. Oh, this paper have used this technique, which is very new.
Yeah.
Although science-wise, probably that is not
science, yes, absolutely true. Because all that science, what we are getting at development is because of the technology, change in technology. Unless there was a time when we used to have rubidium, potassium argon date of the rock was very important. In 50s and 60s, if a rock has been dated by the potassium argon technique, was considered to be final one. So it was, and because there was no other technique available at that, then gradually the people started doing rubidium strontium rate. The rubidium strontium becomes a in thing that anybody who has got a rubidium strontium date of the rock is a big guy. He knows everything. He can interpret the rock. He can interpret the rock in such a wonderful way. Then suddenly came the Sumerian neodymium. The Sumerian neodymium said, no, it is more precise here. This is wrong. There is error bar from plus minus 150 million years. It has now come down to 10 million years. So people say, oh, Sumerian neodymium. Then came the uranium date method. And uranium date method says, no, we need a precision of 1 million years. Now it has come down to 0.5 million years. Now you have come to almost 10,000 precision. So depending who, this is not science. This is technology. Technology is giving us the machine to work on it. If I don't have a technology, then you will not be able to get the data. So we are the users. We are not the manufacturers. The scientists make use of the data which is being produced here to interpret other aspects of it. But the technologists prepare that means is a delivery pipe, a particular system, a system which is there in the mass spectrometer. How precisely the material get sort of transferred to that. All those things are actually technology. So there is no science. But science may produce a thing. Okay, this is the material which I produced. I made a synthetic material. You can make use of it. The technologists put it into use and then do. So science is dependent on technology.
Technology, but yeah, I mean this can be.
But that is the reason why I say I put faith on the field where there is no technology. I put something which you can see with your naked eye. That is the something which in the reality. Everything else, no, you don't see isotopes. You can't see what is an isotope.
Yes, sir. I mean, of course, technology has driven I would say, the human race and the human civilization, and with due respect to the technology. But great sciences happened not because of the technology, but because of the eyes that you said, that because of the angle at which things were seen. Even DNA structure or those things, I would not say was driven because of some new technology came and new invention came together. Some new technique came and some invention based on that investigation has come much later, and there is a lag of those period. So my objection or my issue with this, and because I cannot find any more experience than you to debate about this, that technology are there, but still we can do something new. We can look at something new. We can find something new using old technique because they are sufficient. I mean, you do say that 10,000, even like microscope, whether electronic or light or the you can go on. Now we have the atomic force, the microscopy. We have them. I mean, but I don't think that inventions need. I mean, the many new things can be done, need or dependent on them.
No, as a scientist, what we use our eyes and also brain. We can think of it. We can think of idea. We can find out what could be. But I am emphasizing on technology really, because more and more technological refinement, our scientific interpretations are also becoming refined. What we suppose, I mean, I'm talking from a geological term. If I say that a particular type of rock in this area was formed in an environment in which oxygen was deficient. Now, this is, I'm thinking, because this is the black colored rock and then maybe organic carbon is there, therefore. Now, how do I prove it? I feel that my say that this, because of this color, because of this thing, there is an organic carbon, and this organic carbon must have come. So I need to prove it, but prove it the technology comes. They say, give me an isotope here, this isotope is this. So and you analyze and can do the chemical analysis, you see there's so much organic carbon. Even the estimation of organic carbon, estimation of carbon is a technology. What scientists we do to interpret that thing. We say we have got so much of CaCO3. You have got CO, some MgO, some U. So what? Who is doing that? This is the chemist who is doing it in analyzing. He doesn't understand the value. He gives you a value. That is the reason why there is a problem in Geological Survey of India where the sample sent to the chemist, they analyze and give it to geologists. Chemist does not know why he had analyzed it. Geologist does not know how it has been analyzed. So so a geologist and a chemist or a technologist sit together and work. Therefore, no mass spectrometric work should be done by sending samples. It should be done sitting right over on the machine. Usually, you put your sample, put it there, they see the analytical data, get the plot, and then analyze it. So this is what should be done.
Great. Topics are important, but I can see that you have been, you are well collaborated scientists of India, if I would say. Somewhere, some scientists like, of course, John MacArthur or Mackenzie or Kaufman, these people have some liking to RCO. I mean, I want to know that whether, if I would say they have used you, is it right word to say?
Yeah, some people say they have used it. Of course, I mean, they have a right to say. They have never used it because these were my projects. They were my programs. I'm a part. You submitted when, like, for example, uh, MacArthur's job with the arsenic work was not only funded by the University College London, but it was also was submitted by the British Council on my project, which I submitted to the British Council and UGC. There was a grant, there was a UGC British Council agreement on higher education. So this was funded, all travel and all analysis were travel. So it was a joint project which was supported by University College London, Royal Society, and also University Grants Commission. This is one. Similarly, one like other people, Mackenzie and other people, they say, there was a Chinese student wanted to do work. So I was the co-supervisor with the person, and we did the fieldwork together. It is not that they have come here and then used me as a coolie and then said, like what people will say, "Kya aapne to sample de diya bheja." We didn't do that. We worked together, absolutely sitting on every aspect, even sitting on the microscopes, looking at the outcrop, making the drawings. Even when the papers were being prepared, we exchanged notes. So it has been always a collaborative work. Of course, there is a recent paper. We have got one recent paper in which there are about 25 authors, which was published in Geological Society of London. It was a very important paper, but I didn't do any work on that, but I contributed my data from the India into that. It was a big paper, about, I think, 28 authors into that. We changed the stratigraphic position of a particular horizon in Precambrian. We gave a different boundary level, totally new boundary level. So in those cases, I won't say that I did any work on that, but I contributed to their understanding, contributed their diagrams, and when they make the lithologs, I added my Indian data into that, and those things are there. So there are many aspects of it. So all that my foreign collaborations are not as a sort of a facilitator, but as always a giant project. The another one with Nigel Hughes and other people with the California Riverside University is still going on. In fact, they are working. In fact, we are writing a book on Cambrian geology. Springer has taken it up. I'm one of the authors of that book, the Cambrian geology. I'm doing it. So my things are absolutely clear. And even when I work on the phosphate and work on the isotopes, that also was funded by the Deutsche Forschungsgemeinschaft for DFG. DFG supported a big project. Under that, we work together.
So, I mean, that I just put to know that, and to just let people know that this is not that in science, many times the joy of working together is much larger, and probably that gives much more opportunity to learn from each other, from each other's style, from each other, I mean, the ways of doing things. And so it is really nice to know that these were, you have a good feeling and high feeling for these collaborations. Now, my next question is that how they were different and same, because they themselves are also a kind of legend. They have done a lot of work, contributed a lot of things to the earth science field. So how they were similar or different, if you want to take some thread out of your experience.
No, but I don't understand. What do you mean by different mean in what sense? I mean, they work on their own program. They also have the research.
No. So I mean, how MacArthur was similar or different from Mackenzie? What were some of the things or extra the nitty-gritty that you have observed into them?
No, see,
That okay, he had something about this, and
no,
the
I
other
mean,
has.
see, they are all my personal friends. It is actually just like a personal friend. I want to work with you. Like I could have done work with the Prosun on arsenic.
No,
No,
sir.
for example, but suppose Prosun had approached me that he want to work arsenic with me, I would have joined in. Uh, but he didn't.
No. My point is that let's suppose that if I compare you and let's suppose Professor Subramaniam for a example.
Yeah.
So I can say that okay. So if we talk about, and sometimes we can talk about that somebody is very keen of the subject matter. Their eye lit up when they go into field. Somebody is very nice at interpretation or writing. So how these great guys were similar and different?
Collaborate and all. See, in most cases, it was I who controlled the field work. Wherever they come here, I take them to that wing. It is under my supervision, geological supervision. I make the interpretations, field interpretations, collections. If I make a collection from here, you collect this rock, you collect this sample. So my selection of rock, selection of material for analytical work and other thing is done by me. Then they carry out. They have a facility for analysis and also more funds for analysis. So naturally, I give them sample for the analysis, and whatever analysis which I could do it here, like major elements and other things, and maybe thin sections and microscopic studies, I do it myself. I did it myself, or I put a student on. My own student was working on to that. So, but then the writing portion starts. Then it starts. It is exchange of notes. He writes the 4 pages. I send it. I correct it, and he changes it. It goes on for maybe months, maybe sometimes several months, and then diagrams and other things are drawn. There's also we exchange. So that is the way how the paper comes out with a different authorship. In some time I am a second author, sometime I'm a last author, sometime I'm a first author. That is how the things go around. So we just follow whatever is agreeable to everybody.
What do you think about this Joshimath and this sinking the city? I mean, as per your views.
Joshimath, I've already given several interviews already, different.
I saw it in your Facebook also, but for our audience.
No, I'm just telling you, because my work, I have worked in this area also. I have not done specifically on Joshimath area, but in the whole track of Rishikesh to Joshimath. There is a small phosphate deposit on way in a place called Koryala near on way. So I have seen this area. The whole area is full of rubbles. It's full of water, landslides. So most of the places, most of the houses are actually built on landslides, because that is the plane. You cannot build a house on a vertically plane mountain. It is only when you get a slope. So and these are several hundred years or maybe some thousands of years old. Especially the one at this place, this is a big landslide about 6,000 years old, and people thought that this glacier has this landslide has stabilized, but it has not stabilized, because one very important thing, I don't know how people missed it. Whenever there is a material which flows down on a particular slope, it comes to rest at a particular angle, sometimes at a very steep angle. As you see, anytime anything material coming in the Himalayas, and there are lots of material coming from the rivers, they have a strong degree, about 70 degrees, 65, 70 degrees. But gradually, if it allows to remain there, it goes slowly, this angle decreases, and it's considered to be stable only when it is at 30 degrees. This is the basic principle of sedimentary structure of crossbedding. If crossbedding is formed only, stabilized only at 30 degrees. So it has not. Presently, if you see, it is 45 degrees, 50 degrees slope. So in that 40 degree slope, if you construct, the material has not stabilized. And secondly, there is so much of water which is coming up from the mountain. There is no outlet. If things have been concretized, the material water is getting percolating down into the rock and eroding the particles. And gradually, the particles are getting sort of soft and becoming loose. And when you make a big construction onto that, so therefore it has to collapse. There is no other way but to collapse. So it has happened earlier also. There has been reports also it should not be done, but people have neglected it. They have not actually, because that is the road. I know I was told by a senior person, very senior person, that original alignment of the road which was supposed to going to Badrinath was actually very close to the river and bypassing Joshimath. But the Joshimath people objected to it because then their whole business was gone. Because all that people from the past Joshimath they go, their business is mainly people staying there and on way to Badrinath. So the entire community will have been deprived of the benefits of the tourists. The tourists will go and bypass the Joshimath and go to Badrinath. So it is their making. That is the reason why big hotels were made for their stay, big houses were made, and you can imagine that originally this area was, I think, about 100 or 150 houses. Now several thousands houses are there. I think I was told something 30, 35,000 houses are there. So there is now much pressure on the rock, and concretization is there. Water percolation, surface percolation is not there. Whatever water is coming from the mountain region is actually seeping into underground and making the base unstable. So this is the main reason. Some people say that because it is very close to main central thrust. I don't think so. Main central thrust has been activated like that. It could be a part of it, but main central thrust has not shown any activation in this case.
Wow. I'm thinking to write a letter to science, and maybe we can be co-author.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So now let's move to the some light part, so what is there in science that motivates you? If one, and what is science for you?
You see, there was a period, there was a time in my life when I became totally anti-science and wanted to get out of it, And I can tell you, this was the first year of my research when I joined Lucknow University. In the first year, within about for 6 months and all that, you find that there was no supervision. Nobody was giving us any idea. And then I wanted to work. I wanted to start my project. I started to work, but there was nobody to guide me. So I got so frustrated that I could forget about it. And I took up become a journalist. Perhaps that is an important phase of life. Many people don't know about it. That we used to publish. We were 20 people who joined together and started publishing a newspaper of 24 pages. And there used to be I don't know whether you knew, there used to be a newspaper called Blitz by Long. So same size, same style. We Blitz spread 24 pages. We used to publish every fortnightly. I still have some copies left with me. And I used to write two columns into that. One of the on science subject, another was on the state politics. So for 1 year, virtually, I was out of science without thinking that I may never be able to go, because I found people are not at all interested in science in our department and nobody is giving. Then gradually, I got the project. I got to work in the Himalayas. The idea of mapping of Himalaya came, and we were served with a particular area to work on that. So then again picked it up, and then back from that, it is a routine thing. The journalism was gone. So anyway, the journalism gave me a lot of experience and to meeting people, especially high-level politicians and all that in the coffee house, especially the coffee house politics, which is very common in Lucknow. All Madhulimai and Rajnath, those things, those things, they used to come and sit in the coffee house, and we used to feel very much elated. Look, we are sitting with such people. So that was a phase when I was totally demotivated, and I thought, leave science. But with the development of new development, I got into it, and then that was 1965. So you can imagine long before you were born. So from that, there is a smooth running all through it. So I like science, I like working, and only thing that I always advise: don't sit idle, keep doing something. And I also have a different interest in social likes, like I love reading, non-science, and also write articles also. So this is how my
Yeah. So here, if somebody will tell you that to describe science, I mean, why I am asking it, because recently I was asked to give two answers, and one is that how was I introduced to science, and what is science for me? It's so difficult question.
yeah. I understand. So for me, the science is to understand the unknown. My vision of science, that what we do not know, let's know that. Because nature has left the entire laboratory with us. The entire earth is our laboratory. There are so many things we don't understand, and so many things we have understood over the period of time. Different scientists, your electrical bulb came, Edison came, telephone came, all those things are keep on coming in science. But there are still many things which we don't know. We don't know how we think, why we think. Do we know that how our brain functions for thinking? So thinking, why my thinking is different from yours? This itself is something, a topic which understand. So why I look at the same object, if I've got an object like this, my interpretation is different, and your interpretation will be different. But why? That means there may be something in the brain, something which about we don't know. So similarly, in geological sciences, there are so many things which you know, you do not know. You take up a rock, you understand the analysis of a rock. Then you take out the grain, you don't know from where that grain has come. So this attitude of learning and coming out with is a science. In my division, this is science. That this is what is called the scientific attitude. We always use, oh, you don't have a scientific attitude. That means you don't want to understand its mystery. Scientific attitude means that don't accept anything what is available to you. If you say that this is a phone, you say, no, it is not a phone. It's possible because this may be only phone cover. It may be just a phone cover, there may be no phone. So to understand what is there inside, what is there, is to know the science. So therefore, to know something new, why it is there, and how it has come is science. Whether it is chemistry or physics and everything. In physics also, everything there are also abstract things. And physics is one of the most abstract science. Abstract because everything goes on assumption. You assume that this is there, and then you go through a question. So assumption may be wrong. The whole equation may be wrong. So many things which are having there, so that we are. I want to know the mystery of it. Just like Sherlock Holmes, I want to find out this is the material which I am here, and I want to find from where that particular dust particle has come. So this is geologist is actually a Sherlock Holmes. This is what how I look at science.
Yeah, very interesting answer. I wish I would have known. How did you connect yourself with science? I mean, your first introduction to science?
First introduction, of course, must have been in the school. Some teacher must have given me an interest.
So for me, it was like a Ramayana time and the television, and especially the match, which is happening somewhere else, and it is broadcasted in the television. It was the first introduction of mine to technology, and technology is the product of science. And I said that about science is that, yeah, knowing the unknown is the very obvious answer, but and very rare answer, obvious yet rare. But I said that human can connect with science even nowadays to have better conscience, because the science can give you the better judgment, the ability to make the better judgment about things. Anyway, so and it can give it fulfills the need of human being, the intellect need of the human being, and so on and so forth. Anyway, so in the here I was just curious that how about your motivation in life? I mean, you have achieved everything, and so what was the change during the motivation? I mean, when you were 30s, what was your motivation? When 50s, what was your motivation? Now, what is your motivation? So how does it change? So generally, I ask my guest, what drives you? But I am asking you, what has been the change in your drive?
Changes, yeah, I think it's very difficult. I mean, you should have given me a time to formulate it. Yeah, I could sort of on the spot, if I have to answer you, is that in my early stages of my life first thing was to get into teaching job, because I like teaching, because I wanted to convey what I know and tell it to the student. So my aim was to produce good students. So that was my motivation, that I teach well. And then I was like, I mean, my students will tell you whether I was a good teacher or a bad teacher, but people liked me. So that was my motivation, that I should be a good teacher. Then along with the good teacher, I became science also. Then some students were there. In my career, there were some students who were much better than they could think much better than me. They came up with an idea. So, sir, this is an idea which you'd like to work. We come up. Let us do together. You start working on it. Then we started working together. So then they become that I must produce a good research scholar, a research student. So let there be good thesis. Let me produce students who with good thesis which are referable, which comes out in the publications. Then naturally the rat race started. As you know, that publications started multiplying, and after there is and we wanted a promotion. We got stuck up as a reader, then I became a professor and all those things. So most of the time was aimed at producing good research paper and good publications, go to field work, whether field-based or lab-based. So all that this continues for most of the time. Then subsequently in the later type of life, now is that I want to help people. Now my motivation now for last 20 years, to say that 2 decades, is that provide support to people, support the younger people who are bright and intelligent, to give them opportunity, find out. Because I found that in many of the interviewers, some of the interviewers are they ask awkward questions. And I like and try to sort of demean the student. So gradually I became very rather I can say critical about it. And my aim is now, suppose there is somebody comes up with a project that I want so much of money. I will say, okay, explain to me how you are going to spend it, where you are going to spend it. Explain me. If I'm satisfied, I will give you. I would not say, oh, this is from some professor student. Oh, cut it. Just that type of attitude is very much there, and I oppose it very much, because that is what happens very commonly, and it's still happening. I mean, I cannot control them. That you are a particularly student of that particular teacher, therefore I will not give you this fellowship. This has been happening, and so I made it a sort of my aim of my life to stop these things wherever possible, wherever I have chance. So this is my motivation is nowadays to give support to the young people, provide material benefit to the young people, and if needed, I can even join them in their hand. This, if my physical capacity permits me, I can go and join. This is my motivation.
Wow. What is your advice for an academician or young academician who joined as a faculty? Here, while you advise, please keep these 2-3 things in mind. That yeah, I mean, when they should take a administrative position, how they should be behind on that. How can they focus on what needs to be focused? Of course, we talked last time also about it.
Yeah, to some extent here. An important thing, a young researcher, if he's joining researcher, he has to have good relationship with his supervisor. So he cannot be hostile to a supervisor, but because it is not that he has to pamper him or supervisor has to pamper him, but it should not be unduly harsh with the supervisor's attitude. Same is true with the supervisor. Supervisor should not be harsh or to the student. Primarily, secondly, the student, if he has got a particular viewpoint, he should stick to it and press it with the supervisor and fight with it. So not necessarily that what supervisors say and he has to accept it. This is what has happened to me also a long time ago during my PhD days. And it has happened now, it is happening now and go all over the world there it is happening. The supervisor puts words into the mouth of the student and student writes that without actually protesting, even if he thinks that is wrong. So this should be avoided because then science is not progressing. The science will progress when you come something new come in. If the student starts singing the same words with his supervisor has told him, then where is the progress? He's doing the same thing what supervisor has done. He must do something new. So his interpretation should be something new. So this is the one advice, that don't take supervisor's word blindly or as an God sent thing. This is an important point. Secondly, in order to get his funds and he's got his fellowship bill signed by the supervisor and all that, he has to remain polite to his supervisor, because otherwise he may not sign his fellowship bill. And this is happening. I have seen in my own department. The student objected to a particular work, the supervisor did not sign for 6 months. So such things are happening. Those things are, and this is not only here. I've seen also in Germany, I've seen in US also. There are also people, some supervisors are doing the same thing. So those things, this is one important thing which students should take care of it. And they should not hanker for the administrative position. If the administrative position comes, then they should take it up. This is also important. There is not necessarily that some good researchers, like in our department at Delhi University, there is a very, very good research scholar, research professor. He is an excellent professor and is internationally famous on the subject. But he shies away from administration. The moment we will force him to take up the headship, so say, okay, we will do work for you, but take up the headship. But he refused to do it. So because he said it interferes with my work. But I tell them this is also your job, because apart from doing your science, you are also have some responsibility to the society, responsibility to the department. So that should also be shared. Like in rotation business, it comes to you, then you always take it. They do it everywhere. There are big scientists who have taken over as head of departments. So there is always some problem. Sometimes is lost into actual research, but they should take up both. But they should not hanker for it. That only they want some. They are running or rushing to only to those places where they can do something. Because most sinister part, the whole thing is that people think that once they stop somebody's work, or they stop somebody's grant, or they stop somebody's thinking, they are powerful. And that is wrong. This is a wrong sense of power. Sense of power comes then when you are mentally superior to that person. If you can think better than that person, then you are superior. Not that you have a control over his life. So these are some of the things which should matter in our life.
So here, interesting question. Of course, I didn't ask you initially how long you can spare today, but power has two things. One, by enabling somebody. If I enable somebody, I feel powered. I feel like I am. I am capable. And capability may relate to power. I don't have those things. But if I help somebody to get a job, if I help somebody to get a fellowship, if I get somebody to publish their first paper, I feel satisfied. I feel a sense of, okay, I could do it. It may be called power. But sometimes the opposite of it is that if I destroy somebody, if I get somebody removed from the job, if I get fired somebody, if I didn't write RICO, is fine. I have not agreed to write some RICOs who got it. But I never called somebody to say, hey, this is going, he should not be selected. So these two states of the power. What is the more omnipresent in India?
The second one, which is most omnipresent, as I told you, is very common because you can go and strike in any department of the government or any department of university or every institution. You will find this is the most prevalent thing, that people will think that I will power because I can easily do harm to that, and people are afraid about it because of that. The reason say, oh, usko nahi darao bhai. You उससे पंगा मत लो, वो तुम्हारा करियर खराब कर देगा. अब करियर खराब करना is a very big, very thing. करियर खराब करना, and they have done it. They have done it many places.
Really?
Yeah, they have done it. I know several cases also. In my own life, whose career were really spoiled only because of this. They had to leave the job. They go to different organization, or they change the subject. So
I would not say to reveal the identity and something.
No,
but can you just reveal or tell us the learning out of it? I mean, both that what kind of things may happen, and what is the modus of operandi, and what can we do to protect ourselves from not being be able to get subjected to this?
This is absolutely personal thing. I mean, this goes with your childhood training, your upbringing, what parents have taught you, because these type of things are something which are ingrained in your system. Some people, they come from such a family where there is so much of trouble, so much of rift, so much of conflict, and there will be fights at home. So they come up with a different idea of the life. So if they were peaceful and good life, they learn something better, that you do something which gives you peace, you give the harmony to the people. So it is something which cannot be inculcated over time. Or if you have a good brain and you can see more people, you can understand it. So then also later people become understanding a later part of life by seeing other people, how they are behaving, what they are doing. But most people, as it is, people try to learn the bad things first than anything else. गाली कहना पहले जब सीख लेते हैं, अच्छी बात बाद सीखते हैं. So this is something. What is there? This something cannot do anything unless whole mindset itself has to change, and the society has to change. Society now gradually things are becoming unipolar. Earlier it used to be a big society. Families used to be a bigger one. Most of the people were actually confined within the family, or maybe if it's small mohalla and all that. Now people are unitary families, and with their whole life is actually between three or four rooms of their flat. So they neither go out, they don't neither go play, they neither play gulli danda, they don't neither go do anything, neither play even cricket outside. So they don't do it. So things have changed, and the present day situation is totally different from what we used to have in our childhood or younger days. So my
So, I
advice.
mean, yeah, there is a two part of it. Why I want to emphasize on that, because you have enormous experience of being in committees of for project funding, or I mean for fellowships of different societies, and also for recruitment and so on and so forth, and maybe some disciplinary committees also. I mean, so two questions: how to avoid it, how not to get into the soup, and get into the conflict with those almighty or those mighty. And the second thing is that if somehow it happens, how to troubleshoot it.
Again, it's a very difficult question. Difficult question because it depends upon the environment, a particular position, a particular person. The situation may be different in different places. In some places, you cannot avoid. When you are involved, or your family is involved, or your friends are involved, then in somebody wants to take a decision, you say you cannot avoid. But if it is totally impersonal, then you can say, okay, I don't need to get into this. You just shirk it out of it. But when somebody of near dear, or a friend circle, or a group member, family involved, then you ought to take action and get into uh, what do you call it,
So,
conflict.
so if such, I mean, if such condition arises, what's the best decision? Not to fight and save the career, because in India still, and maybe in all over the places, still it is the case that whether you want to get involved and fight it back, or it is better to leave and find it something new.
Yeah, again, I'm saying to advise anybody how to, in my case, if I do it myself, if I do it, apply or win, I will say fight it out. I will fight it out, and I have fought it. But most people will say, oh, forget about it. Let's get out of it. Because why bother about it? So I cannot do that. Sometimes I feel that I should not have done it. But I feel if something is wrong is going on, let's face it, and let's get face to face and see the end of it. So I want to get into the crux of the problem.
So you will
then,
not think about the result, even if the most likely scenario is that you will get defeated.
No, I've never thought I have done it so many times, but I've faced it, but again I have come out of it. I've always come out of it as a victorious. There are so many cases when I had to fight with my supervisor, I had to fight with the boss in the survey. So many things that I've gone face to face. But ultimately, I found that if I'm right, if I'm convinced I'm right, then I'm right. What I call my motto is trust yourself. I trust myself. If my mind and my heart say that what I'm doing is correct, then I will fight it. But if I have got a doubt that okay, I'm fighting on a wrong principle, then I'm suddenly say okay, maaf karna bhai, humne galti ho gayi. I will say
Yeah. I mean, this one I would really concur. That this is very much important, that no matter decision or sometimes you have been lucky that all the fight that you picked, you happen to be victorious, but many times it may not happen. But the important thing is that you should be knowing from your bottom of the heart that you are right.
yes.
If you think that no, I am really wrong, and now I have to save my life, and that's why I have to fight. Maybe that is also for some extent is fine too, because maybe Gita Gyan also says that maybe you need to protect yourself. But the point is that not for wrongdoing. At that time, maybe saying sorry is better option.
Yeah,
And
of course.
The owning the punishment is also a good choice. Yeah, that is also a bravery. This is a bravery that you say that yes, I have done mistake, and if some punishment is there, I will take it.
Yeah, it has happened not many times, but sometime it has happened. And I said, I'm sorry, and I take back my words. Whatever I said, it was wrong because I was under a wrong impression about the thing. Therefore, what I was saying was based on some other data or some information. And now I'm okay. I don't feel anything bad in there. And I also advise people to do the same thing.
Yeah.
That if you're wrong, if you're wrong, then
but a story is a story doesn't end there. The point is that many times what happens is that 90% you are correct, or maybe majority of the things is that you are correct, but there are some 10% of gray area and 20 area, the 20% of the gray area where you cannot decide whether I am wrong or Samne wala is wrong.
Yes, very, very common.
But at that time, how to go about it? When I know that, yeah, maybe 10%, 20%, I also am fight, but 80% is I have no these things. And most importantly, this 20% does not deserve this punishment.
Very, very hypothetical questions, but
no.
It all it depends. A hypothetical in the sense that because I say whatever the situation demands, you decide on the spot. You cannot make a decision.
Why I am saying and why this is I am debating or I am having little longer time than allotted is that because you know that what improvement we are going to do from here. We have a very good economy, very nice GDP. What we need to fight out or what we need to improve on as a country is on these issues. These issues that somebody should be powerful from my mind that, okay, let's fight it out. I will raise the blow. I would raise the whistle. Or even if sometimes it's not about being right or wrong. It's all about that. Yeah, I have done something wrong, but punishment is huge. If I steal, for stealing you can cut the hand, but you should not cut the neck.
Yes,
right.
Yeah, I agree. This of course I agree with that. You don't want I don't want to go to an extreme and then destroy the person if somebody is wrong. Say, I have done, maybe I am wrong, or you may be wrong, and if he is wrong, so I don't want that he should be destroyed. He also has a space in the system. That space is always there. He, in the whole society, has a space for everyone. Person who is right, a person who is wrong. Because a wrong person also is thinking somewhere. He's also having some in his brain and working on a different. So it is possible that his thinking and my thinking is not matching. And that is the reason why we are fighting together. So I can just express. Now what I see, you express yourself properly. You express yourself correctly. And then see what is the result. If it doesn't succeed, it is okay. So expression of your own case is more important, that you express yourself correctly, you express yourself rightly, and what your brain says, and you use that faculty, and then tell him that you do, tell him or whosoever it is, that this is my thinking. Somebody else will come and have a different thinking, but let him have, because he can also have a same type of thing. He is also using his brain, he's also using his faculty. So those things exist. This is we cannot change the world. No, it's
so
not that
here. So here there is a two aspect. One aspect is that nurturing. Nurturing is very much important, because all along the life you will make mistake, learn from it, and life has been livable because of this reason only. Otherwise, a programming would have been put in our mind, and we would have been programmed to do whatever the way one's proper behavior or something is there. But because we are unique, because 8 billion people are unique and interesting to each other, because still we are different, even if being same. There should be a space of making mistake and learning from it. There is there should be a space of having and celebrating life, celebrating the differences in the thoughts and like that. And that's where the powerful. This I told you. I don't say call mighty. I will call almighty, because they think themselves as the almighty. and they go for like this kind of okay, all and all out of to something. So that's where I think we need to improve on as a country, or as a like, and where the senior people have the onus on that. So now, if let's suppose in coming days I become a senior person, I should not forget what kind of flexibility, what kind of freedom or space I would like to have.
Yeah, but what did you mean by Almighty? What do you call? Why
No,
should
no,
you depend upon Almighty?
no. So I said that powerful people. Now
Powerful
the
people.
powerful people get so corrupted in their mind
Yeah.
that they think
Okay.
that they are not mighty; they are almighty.
No. I was thinking that you are using Almighty for the God.
No. Now these people think that they are almighty. That's the wrong.
These people think they are almighty, and that's true. That is the reason why things are. They think that whatever they had thought, that is the final one. Nobody else can think anything beyond that. So this is not the world has progressed. We have come out for thousands of years. We have come to them, and everybody has been thinking. We are thinking today. So there's no change.
What should be the art of living?
There are so many books now coming up in art of living. There's so many sannyasis they are coming up. The art of living of they are. Now my art of living is that go get up in the morning, brush your teeth, start taking the newspaper, have a breakfast, go for a lunch, go for a walk, and come back, read a book, and enjoy with the family. That's the art of living. Nothing else is art of living.
Keep things simple.
Keep everything in moderation. If you want to have a drink in the evening, have a drink. If you don't want to have a drink, you take a Coca-Cola. You want to have a cup of tea, you take art of drinking is simply making a fool of people. I say that there's nothing like an art of living. Art of living is what the life what you are living is called art of living. I'm living. I'm action. My brain is conscious. I'm amenable to suggestions. I'm amenable to my family. I'm amenable to my friends. The friends come and I like them. When my family come, this is life. So don't fight with each other. That and only one thing which I would say: don't fight with each other. That is something which should not. So in my case, this is the art of living.
How much important is money and saving and property?
Yeah, money has importance because I have seen poverty also, because not exactly poverty in that sense, but very restricted amount of money, because after my father death, as I told you, that we were totally we had been dependent on my brothers. So with mother and with together. So there were many things which I couldn't do. You asked me in the initial stages, why did I not go abroad? Why did not go to PhD for Harvard or other places? It's because we didn't have the money. So wish we had, and then I would have done it. But gradually, when you grow up, we find that the money is important. You want to live nicely. What you see everywhere, that small gadget. First time when we had our room cooler, it was an excitement for us because we didn't have room coolers. So not air. Then when I had the first air conditioner, it was still better. Then I had the second air conditioner, was better. When I got my first scooter, it was an excitement. When my first car, it was. So these things are there. Money, when you can afford. So some material benefits are there. And of course, there is a sense of security also, money. Because as you grow old, you need money. You don't have the source of money. Luckily, we have, for example, we have pensions. But people who don't have pension. My friend Subramaniam said he doesn't have a pension. Those people have a little bit of problem, because the financial problem at the later stage of life becomes difficult. If there are family members who can support them, they're different. Otherwise, money does play an important role, but not too much. I don't think that you need. How much you need? You need a 6 feet of 6 feet long bed and a cover. Or when you die, you just have only a white cover, that you don't need more than that. So you don't need, and you have got 20 rooms in your house. You don't go and sleep in every room, or every room you go there for 5 minutes and 5 minutes sleep. If you have a one room, you live there, you work there, so that is enough for you. So be satisfied with what you have. Same thing is actually for research purposes also. Research purposes, you see, research purpose people are saying, we don't have this thing, we don't have this thing, we don't have mass spectrometer, we don't have this thing, therefore I'm not able to publish it. No, that's wrong. What you have, if you have a machine, do it. If you don't have anything, as a geologist, we can do a lot of work only with the Brunton and hammer. Only Brunton and hammer can produce excellent paper without any instrument. But people will say, I need a mass spectrometer in my, and otherwise I cannot work. I need particularly this thing, only that way it's going to go. So that's wrong. That is not the possible. Whatever is available, we did our work without this equipment. When we did a PhD, we had no instrument like that. There was no, in fact, mass spectrometry was hardly in infant stage when we were doing PhD. We only think the chemical analysis was there, only otherwise nothing. So, and we did work, and those papers are still being referred now. Even those, so I see that whatever is available, be satisfied with that in your general life, in your academic life, or professional life.
We seems to be in a race. I mean, earlier I was thinking, somebody told me that in 1 year 4 paper is good enough. Then I thought that maybe double digit is good enough. And but now I see that there is a kind of a race. I mean, so what is how much is enough is enough, and how to. So there is a two way. One is about this enough or numbers, and another is about that how to keep eyes open to find all the new problem, to be able to see that okay, I am alive as a researcher, and I can have that competitive edge over my coworkers. Yeah. So we are going to finish.
No, I'm not because I wanted something to wet my mouth.
Yeah.
On the chop.
So I was just I asked is that yeah. So number game. I mean the race, and also
race
that
is there because you can't avoid. I didn't. This is one has to go by what everybody is saying. You have to. This is called what we call the rat race type of thing. Everybody is following everybody, and there is no other way but to do it. But again, people have started a little bit selective about it. That whether you are repeating the same thing in number of papers, this is what is happening nowadays. And especially nowadays, you must have read in the recently in Nature and all that, the artificial intelligence things. Artificial intelligence, they are able to produce abstract on their own without even your writing. So many. This is exactly, it is article only came out only 2 days ago that they experimented with about 25 people, 25 topics, and they produced excellent abstract, which experts, when they started looking at it, they couldn't find that this is not written by the human hand, but they were actually written by an artificial intelligence. They were actually as good as that. So this is what is a problem. So quality of paper is now being judged very and in a detailed way. So that in rat race, people should not duplicate your papers. You should not repeat this thing. People have been publishing the same thing and same thing over and over again with different titles, some different type of different little bit of introduction and all that. So those things may be avoided. But you have to get into the rat race for publication, two publication, one publication. And then again, it depends upon the committee member. I have been a committee member, that a person has published 100 papers, another one published has 20 papers. That says that those 20 papers are worth 150 papers of that man. So that's why he should be selected. So, and then if you are going to the 10 papers are excellent, are not good, and 100 papers are good. So it depends upon the person's perception, how you do it. So this is
Yeah, I mean, sir, I really, and I mean, this is amazing because you are not hypocritic. You could have easily said that no, rat race is not important. You don't need to go through that. Just believe in quality. You have not done that, and it was very easy for you. It was very easy for you to say so, and everybody would have bought it, and maybe would have. But so congratulations for being such a honest thing that that you have taken that stand. I should not generalize it, but I can tell you is that if in order to get more citation, you need to do mediocre work.
Yes, exactly, and not mediocre, but something sensational. Something like getting a small vertebrate bone in a rock will straight away go to a science or a nature. But if you produce 200 analysis of water and including hydrogen isotope and deuterium analysis, everything, they will not accept it. So it depends upon the material what you are working on it. So
and I have seen a lot of people who are, and thank God there are some journal who does not care for impact factor. They do not care for those things, and there are some writers who authors and researchers who just want to publish there. They don't care whether it will be cited or not cited. There is a group or there is a community who knows that no matter what, if this paper is published, this like journal, groundwater journal, like hydrogeology journal, like ESNT, these things. There are some journal where I mean, it is not like you have to be very extraordinary to go into the science and nature. I am not talking about that. But among those work, respectable work, these journal citations or overall impact factor is not so high. But if you have even a single paper in that journal, people will respect you for that. So they will
respect you because it's published here, not because they have read your paper.
Yes.
Not because they have read your paper. They would not read the paper. Oh, it is published in such a high journal. It must be good.
So at least that citations. I mean, I will not tell that gentleman name, but he is a scientist of BGS, and we were in a conference for 2 days. I tried to have some conversation, but he was not very pro. Of course, I tried hard, but then third day he asked me, have you published anything in hydrogeology journal? I said, yes, I have published one. After that, he is talking everything with me.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly.
So such kind of respect generates if you are. What are the world's, I mean, the global 3 major problem as of now? Climate change, you can name it the climate change. You can name food security. You can name energy security.
I am not a climate change activist. I am not, because I know the climate change. The reason I'm telling you my reason for that, because I'm opposed to it. Because climate change is simply rehashing the old thing and something which you cannot do in it. I can see. At this moment, nothing could be done to change the climate, whether 1.5 degrees centigrade reduction or 2 degrees centigrade reduction or 1 degree. It is natural phenomena, and this phenomena can be reversed, cannot be reversed by simply changing the catalytic converter in your car or just stopping somebody not to. Because the world is living in such a situation, people still even don't know whether which is the most important thing. Some people are opposed to it, that CO2 is an important part. Those say CO2 is not at all an important part. So there are people who have got very different views on that. So, and nature is changing. You cannot, earthquake will keep coming, volcano will keep emitting things. How will you stop volcanoes? How volcanoes have enormous amount of carbon dioxide, enormous amount of gases are into the atmosphere. So all these small things, they're actually getting money out of the government and wasting. I call it waste of money in working on such climate change things, because I totally disagree with what this panel says, the international, what it is called, international climate change panel. I consider it absolutely waste of money. No, nothing can change. Can you tell me anywhere? See what sea level hasn't changed? It hasn't changed. There are very good paper in journals available now. They have measured it and all that. It has not changed, or maybe fluctuated in some places. Where heat, of course, they are changing. But at the same time, there is also it's becoming very cold also in some places. So we don't know whether the overall heat calculation, overall heat is increasing in it or not. There are warm periods in Europe where you have got 30 degrees, 40 degree temperatures in Europe. But at the same time, you also have -20 and -30 in the winters nowadays. So I am not a climate scientist. Geologically, there are many important things, something which is most important. One is to understand the processes by which magma is coming out. Why the magma is coming out? Because the core of the earth is controlling everything what is happening on the surface. And the core as a dynamo is a dynamo for the earth. So understanding the core is the most important part or aspect of the earth science teaching. Secondly, another important aspect which must be studied is ocean. We know very little of the ocean. We have understood it, but there are so much thing available because ocean and ocean currents, they control everything. They control weather, you control your monsoon, you control your almost everything, so snowfall and everything, depending upon different type of movement of the water, different type of movement, and along with that sediments also coming. Oceanographic work, enormous amount of oceanographic work has been left out. And of course, the most important one, which you people are doing it, what we call first 100 meters of the earth, or 1 kilometer, one kilometer of the earth. Because here we are living. We should know what is the soil, what is the type of soil, why it has been there, why we are or
critical zone. Critical zone.
What you call critical zone, yes, the critical zone 100 meters. That is the actual behavior of the critical zone. Behavior critical zone is a local thing, is not always concerned by the internet, by the global processes, but a local thing. How much water is percolating, how much, where drought will come in what stages, where the groundwater is moving, how the getting is trapped, or whether it is forming, if there is a salinity in the coastal area, whether saline water is coming into the coast or not, or how it is aquifer is being tapped, how many aquifers should be tapped at a particular safe discharge the policy for the cities. Then how much, like Delhi is having such a big problem of that enormous amount of water is being taken out by groundwater. That it is getting depleted and going down and down and down. Now it said, like what has happened in Johannesburg or in Cape Town, there is almost no water there, because all entire water was taken out of it. So it is considered, if things goes away like that, in next 5 or 6 years, Delhi will have no water, no groundwater. So those things are the most important things to do, including the effect of biologists will also include. A lot of biological material go into the surface, into the water, through the surface, especially in the upper layer. So those things must be studied vis-a-vis the clay mineralogy. Therefore, a clay mineralogy is soil profile should be studied properly, and water level should be studied properly. And in all aspects, you have piezometers there, you have different things, you do the water flow character and make diagrams and all that, how the water is, whether inflow is coming or outflow is there, whether river, especially many rivers are getting dry. Why they are going dry? Let us go and study whether they were what type of rivers were there, whether groundwater flow was there or not. Similarly, in the Ganga plain, the entire Ganga plain, most of the Ganga plain is actually fed by the groundwater. The major water of the Ganga and Jamuna is not coming from the Himalaya. Major water is coming from the peninsula of Uttarakhand. So those things have to be studied and should be brought to the notice of the people in organization authority. People say कि glacier खत्म हो जाएगा, गंगा में पानी खत्म हो जाएगा. नहीं खत्म होगा. It will not there because water is coming from different sources. All peninsular rivers are actually feeding. All subterranean water is actually contributing to the Ganga water system. So these things have to be studied. These are the three important I consider: the critical zone study, oceanographic study, and the deep core study of the deep core. Because the entire mechanism of earthquake mechanism, volcano disruption mechanism, and everything is controlled by this deep, and this is the realm of geophysicists. Geophysicists should work on this. So this is my take on this.
I mean, I want to thank myself to ask such question because such beautiful answer would have not come out. Yeah, I mean, yeah, very amazing. How do you see this Elon Musk cloning of the Mars, and do we
He has money.
need what?
He has money. He has a funny brain. So he is playing with that. He's our Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So he is a modern bin Tughlaq. He has got money. He will create something. So I don't think Elon Musk will do anything. So let him play. He has finished. You have finished this Twitter almost. Or Twitter is gone almost.
Oh my God, that is a funny answer. That but in sort of like the money invested to colonize, I mean the Mars and something could have been spent on removing the hunger, poverty.
Of course, that's the reason what I'm saying. This is absolutely foolish. I mean, not only colonizing the Mars, colonizing Mars is a later thing. I don't think there is so much of spaceship. What was the need of India to send a flight to moon? Why? What did we gain? We didn't gain anything. Just because we say we are also one of them who have gone there. What if we divert that money to sort of renovate a river, a village, and make them livable, that would have been much better. Elon Musk, if there's so much of money is there, he should distribute to the poor Africa. Africa is absolutely in a primitive state. Go and spend there. Why spend money to send people to Mars? Absolutely, I say this is a ridiculous world. I really totally disagree with all this decision which we are taking. Even India, we feel proud. Okay, we have also going to Mars. What are we going to get out of it? Sweden is not doing it. Norway is not doing it, but they're having a wonderful life. Their citizens are having a wonderful life. They live so well. But because America is doing and China is doing, Russia is doing, then I will also do it. So what is the purpose of it? Your main aim should be to have a peaceful, wonderful, good life for its own people. People should be able to live nicely and decently. Decent housing, decent food, all decent holidays, decent work. This is what is important. Not these things. They don't. People are also making, this government has done this thing, that government has done that. But that is not important. That doesn't make me unnecessarily people think that we should be proud of it. I don't know why it should be proud of. I'm not proud of it. I'm proud. I have been proud if that money was given to a Delhi suburb and make that place neat and clean, and it's just like a European suburb. Our suburb, if you go to suburb, look at, you will be simply you will be put your handkerchief in your nose, and then you can walk. Why don't you do that? Why don't you the money go there? So I am totally against, or I'm not at all happy or feel proud of all this type of funny achievements.
Yeah, I mean, coming from a scientist, it is a big thing, and that is also the earth scientist.
Yeah.
It is much more importance. I don't know that what kind of reaction it will create,
Yeah.
but
People know me about my view. They all, many of them are frightened and many of them agree. They all agree in low tone.
low tone. Yeah, I mean, but do you think any use of such money or such investment? Do you see any advantage? I mean, we have, I mean, you have told that this money could have judiciously put in there. I also raised the issue.
No, I'm telling you, there are, you have been to Sweden. You have been to other Scandinavian countries. Look at the life they lead. Such a wonderful life they have.
Yes.
They're absolutely super for every man. Even the common man on the street also has got something to eat, something to do, something to stay. Why can't we concentrate on that aspect? We concentrate on to give a life to our people instead of fighting and just getting into what you call rat race of publishing paper. Rat race of the other people. I don't need you add anything to. People laugh. Americans and other people laugh that you are simply wasting your money in all sorts of things. And people say, oh, they are crazy because because we are also doing it, therefore they are feeling jealous and all that, and why we are progressing. But that is not the aim. What I considered that the aim of the government should provide a decent life to the people. Decent life is the ultimate thing. If you go to Mars, if you go to Moon, it will not add to anything. Because the knowledge about the Moon has already been there. Enough knowledge is there. We have understood the Moon. Okay, satellite is okay. Satellites are okay because you are putting satellite. You are having communication satellites. You are adding more communication satellites. You are also helping other people to do it. Those things and that. But what is the craze of going to Mars or Moon? Why? What will you gain? Will you go and make a building there and then say, okay, this is India, this is Indian territory, and we don't allow you to anywhere, come over here. So this is a ridiculous thing. I don't think we should spend money on this at all. I told you try to understand the earth itself. We have not yet understood the earth itself. Earth has not been understood properly. We don't know exactly the mechanism how the earthquake takes place. Earthquake is something which we do it only on the earth. It is earthquake. This is not the Mars quake, or it is not a Mercury quake. It is an earthquake. So earth, we don't know how. Even talk to the topmost geophysicists of the country, and he will say, we still don't know how to interpret it. We still theory because we don't know. So spend money on that. Try to understand the earth crust. Try to see how it is behaving, why it is behaving. Try to understand the ocean, what is happening there, what is happening to its biota, what is happening to its different type of biological life. We don't know there's so much of creatures which are available in the ocean, with so much of food which is available in the ocean. Enormous amount of food can be withdrawn from the ocean. So spend on that. Spend on controlling our population. You are proliferating just like rabbits. Very soon we will be surpassing China. I think by next year we will surpassing China in our population. While with the area half of the China, the countries have got even half of the China. So where will you send these people? Where would you live? Where these people will live? Where will you produce the food for them? You produce on things. Food production is there. Food, of course, we are now producing a lot of food now. some of them are being wasted and all that. It is no longer the time when PL480 time when we have to borrow money and get money. That's a good situation. But there are so many other aspects of life which can be improved, and they have to be improved. Your communication is still poor in a city like Delhi, the capital, where the bus service is improper, where people cannot use the public transport freely. So those things, you concentrate on that, go to small places like Singapore and Hong Kong, look how efficiently they work, that you can actually, you can have a watch can be corrected by the bus comes at 12.3 minutes, that it will come at 3 minutes, not at 4 minutes. Here, if it is the bus is at 12, it will come at 1 o'clock. So there are so many things which can be done where the money can be spent. It is not that everything we have to ape West. And aping the West has become a big problem. Whatever
But
West is also.
But Russia is not West.
Russia is also.
China is not West.
No, major part of Russia is West.
Okay.
Major part of Russia is there. The actually productive Moscow and Moscow, Leningrad and other things are all on the West. Eastern part of Russia is very, very poor. Siberia is very poor.
So I can understand that there is a value of something because these satellite and those aspects, that time also maybe people could have argued that these satellites are not necessary. And I and you have not been talking with Zoom and all. But of course, the country can have their priorities. But at the same time, yeah, I mean, it is good.
My take is that there are many technologies which are already available in the world. Then you borrow it and then use it. Like Zoom. Is it an Indian company? No, it is not an Indian thing. Microsoft is not an Indian thing. We are using it. So it is the technological situation where you have to import things from there and then use it. You cannot have produced Atmanirbhar. It should not unnecessarily try to become Atmanirbhar. There is no point because there is unnecessary you're wasting your energy in doing an Atmanirbhar. It is a world of cooperation, world of give and take. Now, for example, unless you have a situation of give and take, no country can survive. Now why people are running around for the rare earths problem? Rare earths are in China and Bolivia and other places, Africa. So unless you have rare earths from the China, whole world is controlled by China. But everybody is trying to find rare earths in India. Is it necessary that you must have a rare earth here? If you have it, then only your dependence will become less. That's true. But at the same time, for everything, you don't have to be Atmanirbhar. There are many things which you can buy it much cheaper with spending less money from outside. And similarly, you can also send some people who can use a much cheaper than. So this is the world where give and take is the main principle should be. It should not be only that unless I produce myself. It is not. Food, of course, is an important thing. Food we did and we succeeded. And Green Revolution really brought the whole really thing and changed the scenario that we have now become a food exporter. We are exporting food, grains and everything to different parts. But similarly, at the same time, the arhar ke dal what you are using is none of them are Indian. No, most of the arhar dal what you are eating at home is coming from South America or from Mexico. So similarly, there are many items which in the grocery shop which you find is not actually produced locally. It is coming from outside. So there are things which now started getting up. Now हमें तो आत्मनिर्भर होना है अरहर के दाल में. You can grow.
Okay, I understood that this is and this is a different take again. I mean, that's the beauty. I feel like I need to do a third episode with talking with you. But yeah, I mean, we have 2 hours down the lane. When you told me do you want to do in one sitting or two sitting? I was like, yeah, nobody asked me that whether you want to do in one sitting or two sitting. And see, we have such a okay, so I know that if and I am also a curious case of Benjamin. I can also tell you I am good at getting the door unlocked and getting best out of the speaker, out of the knowledge and something, and that's why I knew this ability, and that's why I thought to have this podcast. This is a rapid fire round. You have to reply very fast. Not much description is needed. What excites you about your work?
The science of the science?
No, anything. What excites you about your work? Yeah, you can say about your research, about your whatever you do. What excites you to do that? Yeah, science better.
Science of any subject. Science, whether it is a social subject or
no. So do you work for your name? Do you work for money? Do you work for? What excites you? What motivates you every day?
Of course, name. I work for name, not for money.
And what is your 3 weakness?
3
weaknesses.
Weaknesses. I get easily excited.
That's good thing.
Yeah, it's excited. And other bad thing that I do not care. I do not care with whom. When I express myself, I do not care the status of the other person. Even if I have to say something, I say it blindly. Whether if he could, I've never met the Prime Minister, but even if the Prime Minister is there, I would do the same thing. What I'm talking to you like that. So this is my weakness, you can say.
What are your
and the third weakness is the sweets. Third weakness, really, I have a sweet tooth. If you put me any type of mithai, I'm always.
So do you have diabetes?
No, I don't have. That's why I'm happy with that.
Wow.
I have heart disease, but not.
Yeah. How often you have been doing exercise all along your life?
Never. I didn't do any exercise in my early days, young days. I started doing it in the mid profession time, but I never did it. But then only, you can say, last 2-3 years I'm doing it. After my problem I developed in the heart. Otherwise I was not doing any exercise. I used to go for running for a coin time into the university ground, taking round and all that. But that was not a very regular thing.
Yeah, and you never limited your sugar. You never stop your sugar or dietary control.
No, sugar, etc. Because I didn't have diabetes. I would do. My family, my mother, my father, my grandfather, nobody had diabetes, so I was not worried about it. So,
what about drinks?
Drinks, it used to be a very infrequent thing earlier in the early days. Only when my friends will come, only then I will have a drink. But now I have almost every day, a little bit. But because this is the reason, my cardiac surgeon also said that if you take a small peck every day, that keeps your heart well, and I feel it is good. I never got drunk in my life.
Yeah.
And I have been there, never got drunk, because I have taken many. There have been cases when we have been drinking. Like when I was in Scotland, we used to have a drinking session throughout the day on Sundays, but beer and all that. But now that situation has never come, that I've started vomiting and all those things and falling asleep, or such thing never happened. Even I have driven my car also after drinking. Also, I was quite steady about it. Yeah.
I mean, this is really good to know, and that many times the brain thing, if you are using a good lot of thoughts, that also burns a lot of calorie. So that is maybe that have worked wonder for you. So tell me that what are 3 strengths that you have?
My strength is that determination, number one, that I have to do it and I will do it. And secondly, I trust myself very strongly. I don't depend on others' views. I trust myself. And I try to compromise when I'm wrong. When I'm wrong. When I'm wrong. So I can say this is not my weakness, but this is my strength. That if I find that I'm at a wrong step, then I immediately compromise. So first thing is always determination, which has always been there, because I will do it, I'll do it. That is how my life has
been. Something you are not good at.
Solving a mathematics equation. I don't understand that.
Okay.
Or that is something which I will not be able to do it.
How do you handle the pressure?
Pressure of work, or
pressure of any kind.
Pressure of
mental pressure.
My blood pressure is controlled by my cardiologist medicine. So morning and evening model is my blood pressure. By mental pressure, I normally do it by sleeping, or to just to go back to sleeping, or listening to music.
How do you? I mean, I will not say it now, but during your very busiest time of your life, how did you maintain professional life and family life?
Yeah, initial
balancing.
Stage, yeah, balancing, because I have been to different type of profession as a geologist when I was there. So there was a lot of time in the field was there, so that's why I was not able to devote my time with the family, because they were living at some other place. But after say 1970 onward, so it was equitably distributed, but there were always complaints in the evening, because that sometime I come back 8 o'clock in the night from the lab. Then I used to get a call that must come back. So I used to neglect sometimes my family, but only sometimes, not always. But most of the time I was back home. I had only one child, so therefore I had to play with him. To see when he would grew up in the schoolwork, I helped him. And my wife was an housewife, and she always wanted to go out. The problem was that I used to come back home with tired, and she used to stay at home without doing anything. She wanted to go. So there used to be a little bit of conflict how to manage it. So Saturdays, Sundays, we used to be out. So I fulfilled my family duty most of the time, but neglecting at times.
Nice to hear. Now this is very rapid fire. You have to just don't think too much, although you don't think while answering so far. What is your favorite author? Most favorite author?
Most favorite author? Difficult to say. Because I read Hindi, English, and Bengali. So
you can say one among all. One in Bengali, one in Hindi, one in
author called Shankar in Bengali.
Okay. In English?
English, I would say Bertrand Russell.
Okay, and in Hindi?
And Hindi, I will say Shivani.
Irani. So it is fictional, or what type of novel you like?
Shivani is fictional. Similarly, Shankar is also fictional. The Russell is philosophical and technical.
Okay. What is your most favorite food?
I will say
Gulab
khichdi.
jamun.
Khichdi.
Your most favorite sweet dish? You said you have sweet teeth.
Yes. Barfi.
Kaju, barfi, or just barfi?
Both. Any type of barfi.
Okay.
Kaju better.
Your most favorite drink?
Scotch whiskey.
Which one?
Anything which where the carbon takes, like Talisker or Glenlivet or Glenmorangie.
Okay. What is your favorite book?
Favorite book? To say favorite book. Let's see exactly what is my favorite. Difficult to say favorite book.
Okay. Rapid fire, so we will go next.
Yeah.
What is your favorite possession? Any substance, any object that you love so much? Your favorite possession right now or earlier?
Position. My favorite position.
Your house?
No, my book collection.
Your book collection. Your favorite actor? Actors, both movie actor.
Movie actor. Movie actor.
Male and female both.
Yeah, movie actor was Devanand.
And female?
Female Suchitra Sen.
Wow, yeah. And we were most favorite quote that used.
I hardly use any quote anytime. You see,
or something which is very near to your heart, or you many times you feel like, yeah, this is really. There are many. Sometimes we don't remember.
No, I don't. I don't remember.
So, what is your mantra of life?
Work.
Work is worship?
Work is my mantra, and I advise everybody the same.
What is your favorite cuisine?
Hmm?
Favorite cuisine? I mean,
cuisine. What would you say? Cuisine?
Bengali or Punjabi?
No, cuisine. No, maybe
continental?
No. Chicken
Mexican?
biryani.
Chicken biryani. Now this is the last question. If you were not an academician, what you would have been?
I would have taken a job with a person who had large book collection and served as a servant.
Oh my goodness. This is unique. That I would have served as a servant to a person with large book. Wow. Okay. And that's within the 5 hours, almost 6 hours of conversation. I had a fun. I mean, a lot of learning, lot of things. Time passed, just flied, and I mean, thank you very much for giving me this time, this honor to have this long conversation.
Okay, thank you for considering me for your interview. Really good.
I hope you enjoyed.
Of course, I did.